Levin, the CEO of Kerala SPACEPARK. He is also the former Deputy Director at VSSC and having 37 years in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, the solid propulsion and research entity in the grade as an outstanding scientist. Let us extend a heartfelt welcome this awardee of ISRO Team Excellence. So kindly come on to the stage, please. And to join with us on the fireside chat, we now have Mr. Lloyd Jacob Lopez, the CEO of HEX20 Private Limited, joining with us for the fireside chat. So can we kindly have you on the seat? Having 20 years of experience delivering technically complex digital solution, he have also backed Australia's Top 100 Innovators 2022 by the Australian Business Review. And here we have got two amazing personalities to lead the fireside chat on how the space technology is shaping our future. And the mic is all yours, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lloyd.
Good afternoon.
Nice
Good afternoon, everyone. There is no sound. I think when she asked, you were making sound, and now when we ask, there is no response.
Okay, we are all meeting at a very precious day. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary of first rocket launch from Tumba Equatorial Launching Station, which happened on November 21st, 1963. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary, and there is a grand event being hosted there in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at the Tumba Equatorial Launching Station itself, where the Central Minister for Science and Technology, Professor Jitendra Singh, is going to be there. So the history of Indian space program, we started here in Tales, and the history of space activity started with the Sputnik launch. Maybe happened almost 10 years prior to that. From the very humble beginning, we had our first launch with the American Nick Apache sounding rocket, with the French launcher and Russian computer. That was the combination. And the precious asset what we are having was a group of youngsters who have been so enthusiastic about developing India into a country, a developed country, and that was the vision with which we started. And we continued the journey in developing our own first rocket, that is RH-75, which we call it as pencil rocket. So that happened in 1969. It's a long years after we really had the first launch. Then we developed a series of sounding rocket. And with the SLV-3, we announced the entry into the launch vehicle making, with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam leading the project. So that was our experimental launch vehicle, where we are able to put a 40 kg SROS satellite into the low Earth orbit. From there, we moved on to the simultaneous making of the augmented satellite launch vehicle, which is nothing but a technology demonstrator for a strap-on technology, and the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, it is capable of putting almost 800 kg satellite into sun synchronous 900 kilometer orbit. From that, we moved to the GSLV Mark II for the communication satellite, followed by the mighty GSLV Mark III, which is now operational. And in the course of time, we had our own development of various satellites for the remote sensing, the INSAT series of satellite for the communication activity, and meteorological survey, etc. And other precious launches were the Chandrayaan missions, that is Chandrayaan 1, where we had the Moon Impact Probe, which identified the water molecule in the moon surface. That is the first beginning to the moon. And the second flight, we had a small error in the final phase of soft landing. But we went on to have the third flight, and I think August 23rd this year we had the great success of achieving the first soft landing on the southern pole of moon. Then we had the MOM satellite, the Mars orbiter mission, where India achieved the great success in inserting the Mars orbiter into the Mars orbit in its first attempt, where the developed countries have taken several failures before they are achieving the first success. We had the 104 simultaneous launch of satellites through the PSLV mission, and we are now going to achieve the Aditya L1 mission. We are almost reaching there. By January 23rd or so, we will be reaching the Lagrangian point. So it is a great achievement over the past 60 years what ISRO has done. Now, what has opened up the business opportunity is basically triggered by the private entrepreneurship entry into the American space sector led by Elon Musk. And he is doing wonders with his SpaceX, and currently he is there with the Starlink program and Starship program, and that is the lead, innovative lead taken by Elon Musk and followed by Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic. So that is the eye opener for the government of India. Based on this triggering, government of India has opened up the private sector, the space sector for the private sectors, and there is a policy document out by government of India, and there is a structural change also happened in ISRO with the formation of Indian Space Authorization Board. So that is in space, which is giving the regulatory body which will enable the close linkage between ISRO community and the private enterprise. And this has helped to start almost 150 startup ventures in the space sector, doing excellently well in this area. And one more aspect here is the government has started putting target on the economic side. The current economic volume of the Indian space sector is around 8.3 billion, and by 2032 we have to target for around $44 billion, and by 2040 the target is by reaching around $100 billion. So that is the set target. So this is a great opportunity, and people like H20, they are there to take up the challenge, and it is a great opportunity in the sector. I feel Lloyd is having a good time in having this new venture, and I want to hear from him how he feels now.
Thank you for the introduction. So thank you all for, thank you NASCOM for this wonderful opportunity to speak about our startup, which is X20. And so we started discussing about X20, I think in 2015, and nothing was happening, and space sector was not opened in India, and so we decided, we can do something in Singapore. And then 2019, I moved to Australia. And Australia had just opened up the space sector and they just launched Australian Space Agency. So we got an opportunity to set up a space tech startup there. So that's how the journey started. But along with our journey, the Corona journey also started. So the start was bit, you know, struggling, but in a way it was good because we got a lot of time to get into a deep tech sector where things are very, you know, very hard and a lot of things to learn and a lot of things to understand. So we got some time during the Corona period to get into the system, and then slowly started with small projects, and now we have you know 4 projects that we have signed, and one more lunar mission that we just announced a month back. So that is where we stand. So as part of the journey, we saw that there is a lot of skills available in India, especially in the space tech area. So we opened our first office here in Trivandrum on May 1st this year, and we are building the first 2 satellites here, which is for Taiwan, and currently that build is happening here. So it was not, see, nothing went as per plan, but things are going on smooth. So, and it's a good sector to get into, and I think in the discussion we'll talk more about the opportunities and how, you know, the ecosystem can help. So yeah, this is a short story about the startup. And interesting fact is the 4 founders of the company, they all studied here in Trivandrum. So we all studied in Kreisnagar from grade 5 to grade 10 at that time. And then some of us were in arts college. We did, some of them did engineering in CET. So a lot of Trivandrum connects. And that was again a driver to come and set up something here. Yeah, so that's a small, you know, introduction about our startup.
Okay, I think when you are talking about the startup, we have to also talk about the favorable environment what we have in Kerala, especially Trivandrum. So we started the space journey starting at Tumba, and today we have 3 major Sundays of ISRO, the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, which is the lead center for the entire rocket from design, development, testing, and launching and managing the mission. And the second center is the Liquid Propulsion System Center, which is in Valimala, which is basically taking care of the entire liquid propulsion systems required for the rockets as well as the satellite. And third center is the ISRO Inertial Systems Unit, IASU, that is there at Waterkau. They are supplying all the inertial navigation, guidance and control system in both hardware and software required for the guidance of the rocket as well as the guidance of the satellites. And the third institution what I want to tell is regarding the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology in Valimala, who is specializing from people from the graduation level up to the PhD level in the aerospace sector. And we have the BrahMos Aerospace Limited Trivandrum doing the missiles as well as the rocket systems. So this is a favorable environment, and we have almost 185 small and medium industries operating within Kerala, out of which 55 are in Trivandrum. But all these institutions are mostly supporting the VSSC community. So that is the environment what we are having. And Kerala Space Park is going to utilize this environment by having the tie-up with the ISRO community and providing a pool of experts from the VSSC and ISRO community who are retired and settled here. They will be available as mentors or giving training to the new ventures, so that their services are going to be there. And we are going to have the academic cooperation with IST, KTU, the Kerala Digital University, etc. And we will also have the collaboration with the industries department and our my fellow sister concerns in IT department. That is going to be a major collaborative structure in which we are going to work on. So we will definitely provide the best possible environment to attract the private investors, especially the startup. And the startup will get all the favorable resources and guidance and support from the Kerala Space Park and the associated network of people available to us. So definitely, I think I wish heads 20 all success. I know how they are progressing. I'm keenly monitoring them, and I am here to support anybody coming up into this domain with all possible support from my side. And one more specific aspect I want to discuss here. When you say the startup, people are talking only about the rocket making or the satellite making. I think when you analyze the whole economy, the space sector economy, these two sectors put together will be providing you an opportunity of less than 20%. Whereas the ground network systems, including the data centers and the radar and antenna systems and network systems, plus the application side, the satellite-based data application side, it is generating almost 40%. So put together, these two sectors are giving a major portion of the economy. Almost 80% of the revenue comes out of these two sectors. So why I am highlighting is, this application side, we have to see how the satellite-based data can be utilized to find application to solve the common man's problems, or the to support the government machinery in planning and execution of activity, the resource mapping, or the support to the farmers. So how it is can be developed, we have to see. Here basically the cost involved in starting a application based startup, it is much lower compared to any other sector. So definitely with our mighty capability in the IT sector, we should be able to tap this not so fully tapped area of the satellite-based application development. This sector should be focused, and more youngsters should come to this domain to find application, educate the user community, and find market. Yeah.
So I would like to add to that. So like Levin sir said, we were able to pick students from IAST who are now working with us. We have few engineers who were trainees in ISRO who are now working with us. So we were able to get very good talents here. And only if the sector improves, we will be able to retain these kind of talents in here in Trivandrum, I would say. On the other side, the support that we got from some of the manufacturing companies for making the components here. So there were already, people who are working with ISRO who are making parts for various projects. So we were able to, work with some of these companies to build the satellite structure, mechanical parts and things. And similarly, for the electronics, for manufacturing of boards and things, there are companies who've been working with ISRO for quite some time, and they have the experience to build this to the spec. So these are some of the major advantages that we saw when we came here. And I never knew that such an ecosystem existed here, even though I'm from Trivandrum. And now we have started collaborating with IAST for different programs. And we are also connecting with the universities and colleges here to get into training side of space sector. So this small device that is sitting here, it is a satellite simulator. Yeah. So anyone who wants to get into the area of building satellites or building payloads for satellite can use this to build their parts and then test it. So this is now being used by UAE Space Agency to train their team who are building a payload for their for their mission, which is going to the asteroid belt. So it's a very complex system that they're building, and they're using our platform to build that. So, and we are now in discussion with universities in US, Singapore, Australia, Taiwan. So we have shipped a unit to Taiwan like a few days back. So this platform is used by now universities to teach students how to build a satellite, how to build the various payloads that can come into the satellite. So this is one of the first projects that we did. And currently we are working on 2 projects that we are building 2 satellites for Taiwan, which we are building here. And we are collaborating with local companies here for sourcing different components. So like Levin sir said, on the other side, I can see a huge set of IT companies sitting here who are not yet into the space tech sector. But if you just look at taking the space-based data and making insights out of it, that itself is a huge market that can be tapped by companies who are already here in Technopark or around us. And there are already 2 companies who have signed MOUs with 2 startups in Australia. There was a delegation that came to Trivandrum, and they were able to sign 2 MOUs, and they put together proposals for funding. So a lot of activity is happening, and I think there is a big chance for IT companies here to get into this. We had a meeting with Digital University. They are already using satellite-based data to look at weather and other issues that is happening. Even for the agriculture sector, they are building dashboards that can help farmers and make insights from the satellite-based data that is available. Now, in one of the last sessions where we were talking about autonomous vehicles and things, it was an interesting discussion because I was just telling them we were having a discussion with the defense to support our autonomous systems, including drones, for a defense purpose. So look at how the technology is merging and how an industry is getting connected with space. So I think that's a huge opportunity that is untapped, and the IT sector here can get into.
Yeah, that is a major change. What is called for our collaboration and coordination between the various arms. We have to properly enable. That is one critical thing we have to do. I think towards that, as I told, we are going to have definitely agreements with the academic institutions, our own agencies who are they are working in the Technopark or the IC Force or ICT Academy, DUK, etc. We will have the academic community collaboration. And one critical thing we are seeing is how to develop the R&D products, R&D developments into products for various applications. So this R&D outcome from the ISRO community as well as the IAST and other academic institutions, we are going to help to make it into products and services which can develop the business opportunities in the sector. And especially this sort of engagement will help the youngsters to come over to the field and try their talents. So that is an opportunity what is lying before us.
So as we are connected with, I was part of the Technopark ecosystem for a long time. So we are more than happy to invite you to visit our office, which is in Nila. And we are more than happy to discuss, possible opportunities or identifying opportunities in space sector, especially on the data side of things. It will be a, big market that will be opening up. And as far as I know, ISRO is also looking at a mechanism to share the data, the huge set of data that they have already, and to build insights and dashboards based on that. So there can be collaborations happening. So yeah, I would really like to invite you to ask questions, and whatever possible, I think we can answer. And this can be an opportunity for you also to look at this sector as an alternate, option, which is a big thing coming up. That's a very, very interesting question. My background is not space, to start with. Yeah. So I'm a computer science guy. I was running a IT services company with my classmate, and then when like I said, in this story, when I had a discussion with one of my classmates, Ashwin, who is also not from the space sector, who told me there is something happening in this sector, and his brother is working in that sector, and then we should give it a try. I told, I have no clue, but I'm willing to give it that try. So it was that, or my experience running a different company, and the what do you call it? It was so sexy what Elon Musk did. Yeah? We have seen rockets going up, but we started seeing it coming and landing for the first time, and that was amazing. So for me, it was those pictures that came into mind, and then a lot of these movies that we have seen, but I had no experience with anything. But it was, I think now when I look back, it was a good decision that I took to get into this sector. And mostly what I do is business development and related activities, operations. And the technology side of things, we have a very good team who has a lot of experience in this sector. And that's how I jumped into this. It was the team who was the driving factor, and I was convinced that it will work, and it is working. So we are starting with hardware, and this hardware will start generating data, and that is where we will start our data journey. And we are already looking at how we can collect this data, and then later make insights out of it. So once we have our satellites flying, we can also share some of these data for others to look at and see what can be done. So our final aim will be, after say 20 years, X20 will be a data company.
If all is good to go, I hope we could conclude the session because we are already running out of the timelines. So thank you so much for such an interesting conversation on how the space technology is profoundly impacting our future. Sir, may I request Mr. Levin, sir, may I humbly request you to kindly hand over a token of love and appreciation to Mr. Lloyd Jacob Lopez, the CEO of HEX20 Private Limited, for being a part of such a wonderful conversation. And now, may I request Mr. Purushothaman, the Head of Government Relations Cognizant, to kindly come over to the stage and hand over a tribute from NASCOM to Mr. G. Levin, the CEO of Kerala Space Park. Thank you so much. We had a very interesting conversation, and I request you to kindly listen back to your seats.